Sometimes we're interested in finding a measure of the welfare evaluated at an equilibrium or at another point on a chart. So I'm going to start with, what is the welfare when we're at the equilibrium at P star, a price of 50, and Q star, an equilibrium quantity of 50? When looking for a measure of welfare, one component will be consumer surplus. And consumer surplus is evaluated at the equilibrium or some other point. Consumer surplus is anything below the demand curve and above the price. So anything below the demand curve and above the equilibrium price will give us the area for consumer surplus. And consumer surplus, and is part of our welfare measure. Producers are also part of our society, so we'll need a measure of their welfare as well. And this we call producer surplus. And producer surplus is anything above the supply curve and below the price. So in this case, anything above the supply curve and below the price. So a measure of our welfare is going to be this thing we call the net benefits. The net benefits of society are composed of consumers and producers. So consumer surplus plus the benefits in terms of producers, producer surplus, gives me the net benefits, and this will be our measure of welfare that we use to evaluate different policies. So in order to calculate the consumer surplus and the producer surplus, to get at the measure of welfare that we're calling net benefits, I need to estimate the area of a triangle. To estimate the area of a triangle, I just use this formula here that says 1/2 times the base times the height will give me the area of this triangle, or the area of this triangle, or for that matter, the area of any triangle that we're looking at. So I've got my equation to estimate the value of consumer surplus. It's 1/2 base times height. Well, the base is from here to here, and that's the same distance from here to here. So the base is 50. The height is the distance from the equilibrium price to here, and that distance is equal to 50. So I have 1/2 base times height, so 1/2 50 times 50. 50 times 50 is 2,500, and 1/2 of 2,500 is 1,250. So the consumer surplus is equal to 1,250. We also are estimating the area for producer surplus using the same formula, 1/2 base times height. Well, the base is from 0 to 50. The height is from 0 to 50. So I have 1/2 base times height. So I have 1/2 50 times 50. Again, 50 times 50 is 2,500. 1/2 times 2,500 is 1,250. So producer surplus is 1,250. So the starting point of measuring welfare is adding consumer surplus to producer surplus to get the net benefits of our society. In this case, we got consumer surplus was equal to 1,250. We got producer surplus that was also equal to 1,250. So 1,250 plus 1,250 gives us net benefits for society of 2,500. And this is the starting point. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change the price and get to a different kind of resting point with a different price and quantity, and ask ourselves, are the net benefits larger or smaller in this other case compared to this equilibrium? Suppose that we impose a price floor and set that floor at $75. At $75, the quantity demanded is 25. And we want to evaluate at this price and quantity, what are the net benefits to society? So again, we have to go back and find out what is consumer surplus, what is producer surplus, and then combine those two to get to net benefits. So here are the two new areas. A new area for consumer surplus, a smaller triangle, and then I have an area here for producer surplus. It's going to be a combination of a rectangle and a triangle, so I'm going to need one more equation, an equation for a rectangle or square. The equation for a square or rectangle is simply base times height. So I'm using this formula here, base times height, to get that area. So estimating producer surplus, I need to first find out the area of this triangle here, and I also need to find out the area of this rectangle here. Combining those two will give me the total producer surplus for that entire area. So first, let's begin with estimating the triangle. I need 1/2 base times height. In this case, the quantity stops at 25, so the base is from 0 to 25, or 25. The height is also from 0 up to 25. So I have 1/2 base times height. This gives me 1/2 times 625, which gives me a total for the area of the triangle of 312.50 cents. So adding up the areas, I have the area of the triangle that we estimated at $312.50. Then I have to estimate the area of the rectangle using this equation here, base times height. The base is from here to here, which is the same as here, so this is 25. The height is from 25 to 75, so the difference is 50. So I get 25 times 50 for a total of 1250. And now to calculate the producer surplus, I have to add these two areas together. So I add the 312.50 plus the 1250 to come to a total of $1,562.50. The last area that I have to estimate is the area of the consumer surplus, again using the area of the triangle 1/2 base times height. The base is from here to here. This is a distance of 25, and the height is from 75 to 100 for a distance of 25. So I have 1/2 times 25 times 25, which gives me 1/2 times 625, which gives me $312.50. So this is the consumer surplus under this new case where the price is 75 and the quantity is 25. To get my net benefits, I add my consumer surplus to my producer surplus. Well, $312.50 plus $1,562.50 equals $1,875. So this is a measure of the welfare of my citizens in this case here. Now what I want to do is compare that to the welfare in the previous case. So comparing the net benefits between the two cases, I have the net benefits in case 1. That was where we evaluated at the equilibrium price of $50 and an equilibrium quantity of $50. We found that the net benefits were equal to $2,500. Then we took a case where the price were $75 and the quantity were 25, and we estimated net benefits and we got a total of $1,875. So you can see the net benefits have decreased by fixing the price at 75. What was lost is this area here. We call this area, the shaded area, the deadweight loss. It's the benefits that society could have had if they had gone to the equilibrium that were lost by restricting the price to $75.